Hi, so today we're going to go over a few of the more fun poses with yoga. I'm going to start by demonstrating crow. So for crow, we will start with our feet hip width apart and our hands at heart center. And we're going to lower down into a squat coming up onto the toes. So from the squat, we'll place our palms on the ground and place our knees on the sides of the backs of our arms, and we'll slowly start to shift the weight forward, coming up onto our toes. Once we feel comfortable here, then we'll shift up, maybe picking up one foot, picking up the other foot. So we're flying here, and we'll bring our two big toes together. And this is crow. I'll show you one more time from the side. So we start here, we lower down into a squat, plant the hands, so we stack the knees on the backs of the arms. And you really want to use like the backs of your arms as a table. Um, and make sure that when you plant your hands, your fingers are wide so that the pressure is not all on your wrist. It's actually, most of it's distributed into your fingertips. We'll start to lean forward, picking up one set of toes, then the other, bringing the big toes together. And you're staring down at your mat. And then to lower, come back into our squat. And there's crow. Next, I'll show you side crow. So it's a similar balance pose. I like to enter into side crow from chair or Utkatasana. So again, feet are hip width apart, and we're in chair pose here, sucking our belly buttons in towards the spine with our toes slightly lifted, our weights in our heels. And we'll take a nice twist here, bringing our hands to heart center and the left elbow outside of the right knee. Looking up. And then from here, we're going to come into our squat. And I'm going to, again, stack on top of the backs of my arms, bringing the hands down to the mat, wide hands. And for side crow, my hip, kind of where the socket is going to rest on my back arm, and the side of my knee is going to rest on my front arm. And I'm going to come up onto my toes, lifting one foot and then the other until my crow flies. And if it takes a little bit to get comfortable here, just play with it with one foot and then the other, maybe lifting your feet for a few seconds at a time. We'll do side curl on the other side now. So same thing, just the other side. Planting both hands, stacking the hip and the side of the knee on to the backs of the arms, lifting up. I like to lift up my bottom foot first and then the top, keeping the gaze out in front, and then slowly lower down. I'll show that one more time from a side view. So I'm here in chair, and I take my twist, come into a squat, stacking the hip and the side of my lower femur onto the backs of the arms, plant the hands, wide fingers, lifting my bottom foot, then the other, coming up. and slowly lower down. And there we have side curl. So our next pose, this is a fun one. We're going to enter it from Warrior Two. So we're here, and then from Warrior Two, we'll come into side angle. And then from side angle, I'm going to bind, bringing the top arm around the back and the bottom arm through the legs here. And then I'm actually going to plant the hands and come into a modified squat here. And I've got the left leg over the left arm. And I'm going to bring the right leg through. And this is called 8 angle pose. So I'm going to do it in slow-mo again. I'm just going to show you very simply from without Warrior Two or without side angle. So the premise of this is you're in a squat and the left leg has to come up over the left shoulder as much as possible. And then you're going to thread the right foot around the back of the left foot, hook the ankle, and you're going to push up onto the hands and use your right elbow kind of as a balancing device here for the hip. So I'm going to do it on the other side now, talking us through how to do that. So starting from this squat, I will plant the hands, bring my right foot over my right shoulder, and now I'm going to hook my left foot behind my right ankle and lift up on the hands here. And then as I kick out, I'm lowering down and kind of using my left elbow to squeeze in towards the body to stabilize myself. And again, this is called 8 angle pose. Whew. Okay. Next, we're going to do a fun one that really looks a lot harder than it is. It's headstand. You can do this on a wall to practice. If you have any pre-existing neck conditions, I don't recommend doing this. But if you don't, like really anybody can do this because it's more pressure on your arms than it is your head. So we'll start. Let me put my hair up real quick. Okay. We're going to start in a squat, like all of these poses. And we're going to thread the fingers together, kind of making like a football pose or a football stand for your head. And when we do headstand, this part of our head is actually on the ground. You don't want to be back here. Back here, you're going to lose your balance and it's not good for your neck. But right here, just behind the crown of the head. So I'm going to cup my head here and come onto my knees. So I'm cupping the back of my head, laying the front of my head on the ground. And my forearms are on the ground. I'm on my knees and I'm slowly going to lift up and then walk the toes up towards my elbows. And I can lift one foot and then the other foot, clenching the abs And if I want to stop, I can stop here, or I can slowly reach the feet up, flexing the toes, coming into full headstand. And then I'll lower my legs down. And after we take headstand, we want to neutralize our circulation. So I'm going to rest here in child's pose for a few seconds. Okay, and I'll show you that one more time from the opposite view so you can see what it looks like from the other side. So starting in squat, I'm actually going to lace the fingers together, come down onto my knees, and make my little stand for my head, cupping the back of the head. That area just behind the crown of my head is on the ground. And I'll come up, walking the toes towards the elbows, taking one foot off the ground, then the other, then slowly straightening out, flexing the toes, and the weight is distributed pretty evenly throughout my arms, so it's really not that much pressure on my head. And I will lower down. And again, taking child's pose. But that's all for now. Hope you have fun. Be safe trying these things. But these are great ways to challenge yourself, especially while we're at home during this time. Thanks.